Chandelure is best and safest as a zoner, but most people play it aggressively and love to press buttons at every distance. So I'll talk about not only how to get in, but how to contain all the different reversals. If you are Gardevoir, you're going to have to zone way closer than you like because Chandelure is the best zoner in the game, straight up. And it will beat any other character's field phase unless you work really hard. So let's work. Actually, F that. Who wants to work? I'm going to save you a lot of headache by telling you right now, if you know your opponent has a Chandelure, pick Magikarp and support cheer. Neutral Y, Laser, Side Y, Charge Side Y, which is basically unpunishable unless it whips. Back Y, basically every move that Chandelure has that can lead into a phase shift gets knocked down by Magikarp. So you can freely run up and mix it up. And unless it homing cancels and grabs back at perfect timing, any preemptive moves it uses to break your grab will get it hit. And a negative status means Chandelure cannot use Overheat in the ensuing duel phase. But if Magikarp is not on deck, let's go over the individual moves anyway. Like many zoners, sidestepping is the best strategy here. Neutral Y can cancel into any Pokemon move, but more importantly into Laser and Flame Burst. Jumping preemptively can get you hit by Flame Burst, and countering will definitely get you killed. Actually, don't counter against Chandelure ever. All its Pokemon moves pierce, and it can poke through blue armor very easily. Sidestep Neutral Y until you get a feel for the opponent's pattern, then you can try your luck jumping. Side Y can be treated like Neutral Y. Will-O-Wisp can be jumped over on reaction, but Chandelure usually has time to block a jump attack. Still, yet another move that can be stepped. Minimize has invincibility against physical attacks and projectiles, but it can be grabbed. Unfortunately, unless you are point blank, it can move out of the way of your grab while it is in this move and then punish. But if it is right next to you, it has no moves that it can do out of this in field phase that will beat out grab. Forward Y, Laser is easily the best field phase attack in Pokkén. A similar laser can be done with Jumping Y. This move pierces when fully charged and has some but not perfect tracking. Preemptive sidestepping is still a great option against this move, but the air laser tracks better, so don't step to the direction that it is moving. It is minus 20 on block normally, but minus 16 on block fully charged, so prepare your punishes if you block it up close. Jumping Y is even more minus, especially the higher up it is, but Chandelure can transition into using aerial attacks after this. It's a bit of a guess what Chandelure will come down with. Usually, true field phase anti-airs can knock it out of the air, and other characters can armor. But it is safest to just wait it out until it comes down and grab after a jumping X, which is minus 16 in field phase. If it comes down with nothing, remember aerial moves have added landing recovery in field phase. Short characters do not have to worry too much about back Y. If you're walking forward, you can go right under it usually. Tall characters have to predict this and space between the projectiles or preemptively use a projectile erasing attack. This is safe on block, but minus 8, so you can challenge after. In close quarter situations, Chandelure will like to switch between back Y, neutral Y, and Smog. Smog is a command counter, but it does not have many armored frames, so most characters can follow up a side Y with another attack to blow through this. Unfortunately, the Smog Cloud, if it's out already, this explodes other projectiles, so you have to respect it. The move is minus 16, but almost no character can punish this on block, besides like Lucario at a perfect range. But it is a mid-low, so jumping preemptively avoids both this and neutral Y. Back Y can juggle for a phase-shifting combo, however. The idea with getting in on Chandelure is sidestepping its laser and neutral Y. It has charged neutral Y, which can hit sidesteppers, and this will actually shift instantly, so it's one of the few things that will actually beat out Magikarp. But this move is not very fast at 35 frames and is minus 18 on block anyway, so you can just keep approaching. You want to dodge all these moves and get nervous enough to start pressing buttons. When you get a read on what they like to press, either wait and whiff punish the back Y or laser, or jump over the Smog and neutral Y. Characters with strong fly-use approaches like Shadow Mewtwo, Decidueye love being up close to Chandelure. Lucario specifically can bone rush almost anything it throws out. I probably made this sound easier than it is. If you're having trouble finding an opening, unless you're Shadow Mewtwo or Gengar with no shield strength, no HP, and you need synergy to win, then you can just eat the shield break. Especially at the beginning of the round because it does not steal synergy because you didn't build up any. It's better than actually eating the fully charged laser. The toughest thing about losing field to a shield break is you have to continue the obstacle course, but now with Hex in front of you. Let's talk about dual phase. Hex is a 23 frame command grab that does more damage depending on how many debuffs you have. An incentive to not eat Will-O-Wisp or Smog. You're not going to be breaking this on reaction, and its range is super far, but focus on staying outside of it. You can either be full screen or you can dash once or twice to get past its hitbox. When Chandelure moves towards you to get in range, move back. And when it moves backwards, move forward with it. If it cannot lock you down to hex you, it will start using laser again. But this time in dual phase, and it's a little bit different frame data. The aerial version is a high and can be ducked or slid under if you have a character that cannot bow stance. The normal one has to be blocked since fully charged it pierces, but you can approach afterwards. All of these are unsafe on block point blank. 6XX is going to be Many Chandelure next option after Hex and Laser. This move starts up in 19 frames and both hits are -20 on block. However, if you try to punish the first hit, the second can hit you just like Mewtwo's Fire Punch. It is a guess, but you can use Extended State to delay your punish and still remain blocking if the opponent cancels early. Also, if you are in range to quickly whiff punish the first hit before the second can come out, that works. Really annoying lunge. Overheat is a red armored reversal that Chandelure will use in conjunction with Smog. It is also an option Chandelure can use out of Minimize, so if you're looking to punish Minimize, do it immediately with no hesitation. This attack does not have red armor if Chandelure has a stat debuff, and the recovery of this move gives it one. Some characters have setups to completely avoid Overheat, and many 2Ys can poke into it and bait this as a low commitment option. I'm a big fan of counter pierces and moves that can be cancelled into jumps or teleports to avoid both this and Smog. Examples are Sceptile's 5Y, Shadow Mewtwo 6X, Scarcharm Dragonclaw, and a lot of Decidueye moves can hop right over this because Overheat does count as a mid-low. If you don't have anything at all, you just have to bait this and get it to whiff, or like I said at the beginning, pop Magikarp to get the speed debuff, which removes the red armor and decreases the damage of this move.
Hell no! Hell no!
Remember that Smog pushes your character right into Hex range, but at -16, it is free forward movement for you. Also, the smoke explodes not only projectiles, but moves that interact with projectiles as well. Backdash is Chandelure's best and safest reversal option, in my opinion, but American Chandelure are party animals and mostly like trying to press buttons, so it takes a lot of conditioning to get them to actually use Backdash. Invincible frames 1 to 22. You have a couple options here. Either delay your melee attack and make sure you're doing one with a lot of range, or you can do something like Shadow Mewtwo Slashes, Aqua Jet, Decidueye 6X, or even EX Heatwave if you've gotten rid of the threat of Overheat. You just need something that reaches really far and has a lot of active frames. Oh, and don't ever actually expect Chandelure to block. They never block. In fact, I think Gengar and Chandelure players both intentionally play with broken R buttons. 5Y is a high that reaches very far. Characters like Decidueye, Shadow Mewtwo, and characters with Ghost Dashes can try to phase through the second Y, but beware of immediate cancels into Overheat. Chandelure will try to make you guess between Overheat, Smog, and Flame Burst, so you cannot consistently avoid and punish the oncoming special. But Flame Burst point blank is not safe on block, and every other Pokemon move can be preemptively jumped over, so the risk reward is in your favor if you lean on block and jump occasionally. The next attack Chandelure has to stop approaches is 8Y, frame 1 anti-air. It is the best anti-air in the game besides Gengar's 8Y, but it can still be made to whip. Chandelure like to use this move as a guess just as much as on reaction, so be ready to home run bat this if they whiff it on the ground. Will-O-Wisp is generally a free jump, but if it is charged, just block it out while still avoiding Hex range. Uncharged Flame Burst only hits you if you jump, but when it's fully charged, it starts as a high and then turns into a mid-low, so you have to jump it late. It's kind of difficult to deal with. Ideally, dash past this when you see this starting up and you have some room. Slide 2X is safe, and it is incredibly obnoxious. Not sure why, but many of the Chandelure like to immediately do this for 6X once you activate burst mode. Predict this and block for a bit or even jump back. Some characters I suggest bursting into an immediate low stance or bursting immediately out of your burst activation to beat out any lunge. 8X can be cancelled into aerials, and it is awkward to whiff punish, but it can be done. Safe on block. 5X is safe, but remember when charged, only the initial hit pierces. The subsequent hits can be beaten out with armor. 4X and jump 8X charged or not do not pierce, so counter these and get a full punish. Jumping A is Incinerate. This is very awkward and character specific to punish. The most consistent strategy is to counterattack and then backdash if there is no commitment to avoid escapes out of the corner. You're going to have to lab this one character by character. If you really hate it, Rotom is a good choice, especially if you think you can beat it in field phase without Magikarp. When you're in burst mode, don't do a raw burst attack against Chandelure unless you're canceling into it because it can minimize through it. The thing with minimize is it's a release button, so it doesn't have to properly time the attack. You can just release the button once your cinematic starts and it'll go right through your super and it'll be able to punish. Finally, burst attack is blue armored and -8 on block. This one was pretty difficult, but we did it. Next caller.